What's up, guys? Welcome back to another freaking podcast.
Happy Friday, guys, and happy February. Finally, we're out of the freaking longest month of the entire year.
Yeah, guys, I think I thought at first that now with having Franco's birthday in January, it was going to go by faster. I think because his birthday's at the end, it goes by even slower.
Yeah, it is. But we got through it, guys. I feel like I've had the blues ever since his birthday because it's happy, but it's sad to think about. It's already been a year since we had him. And then I think you just go into thinking about like, oh, I don't think I've spent enough time with him, or I don't have enough pictures, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been in kind of a funk. But I think that's how I get with every birthday, you know?
Yeah,
I get sad.
You got that from your mom.
Yeah, we get sad.
So you guys get sad on happy days.
I know.
But it's not because you're sad of the happy day. It's because it's so happy you don't want it to end or something like that. I don't know. Or
I think it's because we don't... It's such a happy day that we want it to be perfect, and sometimes we think we're not doing enough.
Yeah. It's crazy how like little things we get from our parents, but you do. Yeah. You and your mom do the exact same thing. What did I tell you the other day? I was like, no, not the other day, but like a while ago. It's like your mom's so sad on today, but like it's so happy.
I think it was like Mother's Day, no?
Mother's Day. I was like,
when's your mom? I think it was Mother's Day.
But I think it's just because she remembers her mom and then et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, we have a whole ass 1-year-old. He's almost walking. And it's crazy. I think that's the craziest thing that has ever happened to us is having a baby.
Honestly, Blanca and I have been prolonging his walking. No le hemos enseñado. We haven't really showed him or like actively like helped him trying to walk.
Yeah, like we just let him take it at his own pace.
Yeah, because I think like if we would have already like pressured him or done it like daily, like tummy time when he was little, but like daily walking, I'm sure he would have walked by now. But like we see him and we don't really help him because he's our first baby, so we don't really want him to walk like as quickly. Like he's gonna walk eventually. So
I guess what we're trying to say is that we're not trying to rush it. I feel like a lot of moms, by the time their baby's 10 months or 11 months, are already like, let's get you walking toys, let's get you like go from one couch to another. And for them, I feel like they're probably thinking, oh, this is so good, them walking. But every time like your baby grows, it gets harder when they start crawling, when they start sitting, you know? So we know walking is going to be so much harder just because we have to take care of him so much more, que no se meta la boca, that he doesn't fall, he doesn't hit himself. So we were just literally let him do whatever he wants. Like if he wants to stand up and walk, he does it. If he wants to just sit and play, like we let him. We're not really encouraging it too much, but he already he stands up and walks everywhere with his little walker, or he pushes chairs or just anything that he can push, he will walk with. So we can see that it's like the time is coming, you know, he's almost there. That's
the best advice we can give to new parents, guys. Like really take it in and enjoy it. You know, at the end of the day, Franco and a baby that walked at 10 months are probably going to be on the same soccer team and there's going to be no difference in skill whatsoever. So there's no like rush, like, oh, my kid walked at 10 months. Congrats. You want a cookie? Like
just soak the moments, you know? Because they go by too fast. And I think that's what his first birthday was to me. I was like, I don't feel like I soaked it in enough, because he was just this little tiny newborn, and then that just went by as a flash. And now he's like this whole like toddler.
Yeah, guys, that's a scam. When people when you think of a baby, you think of a baby from like 0 months when they're born to like 1 year, right? Like that's a babyish, or even 2 years. But no, that's a scam, guys. A true baby is from when they're born to max 5 months, I would say.
I think 4, because at 5 they already start like sitting and like eating and like.
So 4. So really, you have a true baby, like a little bag of potatoes at like 3-4 months, because at 5 Franco already knew like we would like annoy him with kisses and he would start pushing us away. They start sitting, eating, they're sassy, like they start getting their little personality. So really you only have like 3 or 4 months with a genuine baby where you like hold them and like their neck,
cuddle
them and
so that's how we're feeling over here, guys. A little bit nostalgic, a little bit, have a little bit of the baby blues, but it's fun. Like having him at this age is just fun now, but harder. I don't know. I guess we could always go into like a podcast where we update you guys, because I know a lot of you guys aren't parents and a lot of you guys don't really care. So maybe we can just go into a podcast where it's like actually like a life update, which means it's going to be about us and Franco in specific,
Yeah. But anyways, guys, let's get right into the weather.
Yay.
Can you believe it? We're filming this on a Monday, so the Monday before it comes out on Thursday and Friday. And right now in our little town, it's 8 degrees, but it feels like 3 degrees. That's what it says.
It's cold. It's like painfully cold outside.
Yeah, it actually hurts, guys. All the water bottles in the garage, actually, we keep our water bottles like when we come from like Sam's or everything like in the garage because they stay cold. Today we woke up and they were frozen. So
Yeah.
in our garage. So that makes you, kind of a little perspective. So Denver, without needing to say, obviously, 7 degrees outside. Oh, no, never mind. I was saying it for today. Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Friday, you're looking at 47 degrees. Our Coloradians here in Denver, partially cloudy. And then we go over to El Paso, Texas. Friday, partially cloudy, 64 degrees. Not bad. I think that's perfect. Phoenix, we got Friday, cloudy, 71 degrees. I think that's perfect. You guys are going to love that. And LA, Friday, partially cloudy, 68. I think partially cloudy all over the world. Mm-hmm. Right now it's snowing in Fort Worth. That's crazy. Is that true, guys? Come back to Monday and let me know for those that live. Tampa looks like Friday, 50% chance of rain, lightning, and thunder, 76 degrees. Mando, I know you're listening to this, so you better not have any. Lily better not have any events on Friday because it's gonna rain. And yeah, guys, I think that's it.
Cool. A little update, guys. This Wednesday, I'm going to be heading out of town to California, leaving Franco and Jonathan behind because I'm going for a very special event that you guys will probably find out pretty soon after, or maybe on that day you'll find out. Nothing? No, they haven't said anything. Well, she has said, like Lulu has hinted at something that she's working on. So
I'm over here saying they.
Oh, well, she's already hinted. Like she's talked about it on YouTube, saying that she's so excited. So on Wednesday, I am flying out with Noemi to support her and to be there for her. And it's gonna literally be a 20-hour trip. Like wait,
this comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know if they're gonna announce on Wednesday. I think
our
they are.
podcast comes out Thursday. Does that make sense? Like you can say it.
But I don't know if they already, like, I don't know. Like, is it the announcement the thing had already on Wednesday? Or is it just like the dinner? I don't know.
Oh.
You know what? Just go to my Instagram and follow me if you want to know what I was up to yesterday. But yeah, Noemi and I are flying out to support her. Literally land at like 10 a.m. and I'm home by 9 a.m. the next day because Franco, we're struggling over here with the little milk nursing and having him go on whole milk and stuff. So I'm going to California. I'm so excited. 20-hour trip with Noemi, a little girl's trip. Yeah. And Jonathan stays back with Mr. Franks.
Guys, follow me on Instagram if you want to see me struggle. Because the other day I took care of him for quite a bit because you were busy with the birthday planning. I think from like 2 to like, and then I took him to my parents' house. So like 2 to 9. And that was a struggle because pobrecito, he really wanted like to breastfeed already, but I kept distracting him, feeding him like real food and stuff. So now like a whole 24 hours at nighttime with him is gonna be something else.
Yeah. So I'm kind of doing it in a way to help him like realize that he can drink milk and it doesn't have to breastfeed. But I don't know. You're probably going to have a really terrible time. I'm sorry about that. But I am going to sleep here in the living room. Probably. With him. I don't know. But hopefully, my mom is still here. So she'll be able to help you because you have a soccer game anyway. So I think it'll be fine. But go follow me on Instagram. And it's a 24 hours. So you'll be able to see what I was doing yesterday if you listen to the audio version of this.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Do you have any other updates?
Updates? No, guys. Wait, I did have one.
We'll come back to you.
We'll come back to me.
But anyways,
for now,
guys,
what are we going to do?
After last podcast, we have been getting, I would say, about a couple or a few emails a day, like daily. A day,
and then on Instagram, we get about a DM a day.
Yeah, and just letting us know.
That's on average. Obviously, sometimes we get like 3 or 4.
Yeah, just telling us how you guys, like, all of the advice you want, so... Let's see.
I appreciate all you guys messaging the Instagram because we didn't upload last week. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. We apologize for not uploading last week.
Yeah.
It was kind of, Franco's birthday party planning / like weekend, that we had with him.
There was a lot going on last week.
There was a lot going on.
And I feel like we always say, like, oh, there's so much going on behind the scenes. Like, maybe one day we'll open up about it, but it's like, it's ongoing, so we can't.
And then also, like, we're new to this. Well, I'm new to, like, having multiple Instagrams now. So, like, sometimes I forget to go on Spill the Beans and, like, because I don't even post on mine sometimes daily. Yeah. So, like, Contimendo Spill the Beans. So, I just opened up the Spill the Beans Instagram, and I'm so sorry, guys. A lot of you guys asked where the podcast was.
I know.
So, I feel really shitty leaving you guys hanging, but, because I'm the one that usually is on it. But, yeah. Oh, wait, update. The girl that, remember the small...
oh yeah
small PP question. Yeah. So she updated us, guys. You guys want the update?
Oh my god.
She said, not sure if it was my message you guys answered, but the advice was great and you guys are right. There's no need to leave him. We can make it work. Thank you guys. I'm a huge fan. I never thought you would actually see my message. I was dying when Jonathan said tiny wiener. Thank you, girl, for the update.
That's nice.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate updates because that's cool that, like, our advice helped.
Yeah, it's just nice to know that you probably feel better now,
Yeah.
It's not, you're not thinking about it. But after that, we got a lot. So we're going to try to go through them. And I just wanted to remind you guys, we love reading your advice emails. But in order for us to, like, read them on the podcast, they do have to be kind of short and summarized. I know, like, trust me, when I vent or rant, like, I want to write a 10-page essay. But the shorter and the more condensed your story is, the more likely it is for us to read it on the podcast. So throw some bullet points in.
Just
like,
bullet points.
Just throw, like, the important, juicy parts, and then throw the question in at the end, because then we will read it most likely. But here is the first one. Oh, and they're all anonymous all the time. Don't even worry. We don't even look at the names. But This one says, hi, guys. So I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years already, and we have a baby together. We have been having problems for a while now, mostly about him always playing his video games or on his phone. I get sad because he doesn't really give me attention. Or when I tell him to stop playing, he starts to get mad even if I let him play for an hour or two. And every time I want to talk to him about how I feel, he starts to get mad and scream at me. I know it's not a big deal to others, but sometimes I just want him to pay attention to us and do something instead of being on his games. What do you think?
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
The very beginning, I was like, hold up. And then, let her cook. She cooked. She described it,
Yeah.
Good.
The reason I wanted to read this out loud is because if you guys know, like, Jonathan used to, well, for a while you were, like, obsessed with video games. Before Franco, you were, like, on the game as much as you can.
Always at night.
Yeah.
After our day was over.
Well, sometimes you would go in during the day.
When you were out or you were busy.
Yeah.
Like, like we're just chilling and I'm playing video games.
Yeah. And as we always said, like, Jonathan, well, before we had Franco, like, you guys were always telling me, like, be careful, girl, because even they say that when the baby comes, they'll stop, but they usually don't. Uh-huh. And when Franco came and he was, like, a tiny little baby, you still played here and there, I would say, like, at night. And it was always how we talked about how you chose your battles. Like, yeah, he would go to sleep and then you would play, but you would still have to wake up super early.
I remember the first 2-3 months.
Yeah.
I kept playing.
Yeah.
Pero me iba como la fregada en la mañana, so I stopped for a while.
Yeah. And I do want to say, like, it's their hobby, and I know it's a passion, and I know it's, like, super fun, and it's good for them to, like, let themselves, como se dice, express themselves.
Vent,
like, yeah, like, it's just, like, so, yeah, let's stress out. But the way I have seen it with you is that you slowly stopped playing because you saw that it wasn't really, like, helping you in any way, shape, or form, I would say. Like, you play FIFA now, which is nice because you play with your friends or when they're over. And you don't cuss and you're not like, yeah. But I feel like slowly, because it wasn't doing much for you, como que you stopped. Like, it was never like me telling you not to stop.
I wish it was that big.
So what was it then? Because you haven't told me, like, why you haven't played anymore.
So.
Or is it because your PC doesn't work?
No. No, so. What was it? It's because it's so dumb, but I feel like, yes, you're right in a sense that I kind of like, because at the beginning I wanted to get really good at and play more because I wanted to stream. Mm-hmm. You can't just be average and stream because then no one's going to watch you, and out of my whole friend group, I was pretty much the best one. But what actually happened was the game we all would play, all my friends would play, the new version came out, like Warzone 2, but that one they made it really shitty. It's like the description of you have something nice, why change it? And they changed it. So it was a huge turnoff, like the biggest turnoff. Me, Gabe, all my friends that I know that I talk to every once in a while, they don't play no more. So that's why we stopped playing.
Oh, so you're just waiting for a better version to come out?
No, it just they I don't think it will ever. And even like big streamers, like I know you guys probably don't care about this, but like big streamers that revolve their life around that game we all played, they're like tweeting at Call of Duty constantly, like bring it back, bring it back. They're losing money. They're losing a lot of money because people don't watch them anymore because we don't play it. If I don't play it, then why am I gonna watch someone play it? So that's the real reason.
Oh, this whole time I was like, well, you weren't very productive with it, you know? Like, yeah. I felt like when it kind of stopped, because I didn't know anything about this update, but it was when you saw that you started going to the gym at like 6 a.m. Yeah. And then if you want to sleep late, then you wouldn't want to wake up.
No, but you're right in the sense that this change that happened where I wanted to lose weight, it would have happened even if the game didn't get the shitty update, because I would play every night with Gabe FIFA. And you haven't seen me play FIFA in a long time, even with that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I never believed in, like, getting your 8 hours of sleep. I'm like, if I get 8 or if I get 2, I'm still going to wake up shitty, you know? But I think it's also, like, with my whole hormones coming back into balance, I do see the difference in sleeps now.
Oh.
So if I go to sleep past 10 or 11, I know I'm going to have a shitty time waking up.
Yeah. Well, I think that if it's to the point where he's not spending time with you, he's not giving you attention, you have a whole baby, I think at that point it's like, it's me or the video games.
Yes, let's go back to the question, guys. So the question is, yes, as soon as like Franco was born, as soon as girl, you're like, you have a baby, that comes before all. And not even like, eso no se dice. It's just common sense that your husband should want to be spending more time with you and with your baby, because no somos tontos, a veces sí nos hacemos, and we know that baby grows fast and it's gonna, you know, like grow quickly, and you're not, or maybe he is stupid like that. He doesn't know he's not going to get those months and days back. You know what I mean? Or make him realize that, like, hey, our baby's little right now, but like you're playing video games and before you know, they're going to be 5, 10 and you missed out on the best time of your life, you know?
Yeah.
But, you should have also seen that, girl. Like you're big on like, leave him, sis, but I'm also big on like facing your consequences. Yeah. You should have known what type of man you were marrying, or they're married, right? Or before you had a kid. Because what's that saying when like, si no fue buen esposo, at least marry like a good dad or something like that? How does that go?
I don't know.
So with that being said, like if you decided to, like, I'm going to be very like straight up with you, girl. If you decided to open your legs and purposely get pregnant by this type of man, then I'm sorry, pero como que te lo buscaste, no? Like if you knew like, hey, like, okay, I see my husband obsessed over video games, but Blanca at the end of the day knew that I would always put my son before them. So I don't think you ever had that fear of like, oh shit, he might love Call of Duty more than Franco. I don't think so.
I guess it wasn't a fear that I had. The fear that I had was, am I one day gonna have to make him choose and like to literally tell you it's the video game or us or we're done.
But that's out of like productivity. But I'm sure like you knew the answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever been like Call of Duty over my son.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to the same thing that we always say is, if you are having these problems before you have a baby, before you get married, marriage and babies are never going to fix it or make them better, because you always have to fix it before you make such a huge commitment with it. And I know that I've always been the type that's like, well, leave him, sis, leave him, whatever, do this and that. But if you, like, when you, como dicen, it's easier said than done. And when you start going through shit, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, no, it's not. And I think something that Jonathan has taught me is like marriage, because I've always been, divorce is not out of the question. Like, divorce is there. Mm-hmm. So, and it's always the way out, you know? So, but I feel like you've taught me that marriages work because you have to put in the work. Like, you can't just leave because there's like this one small inconvenience. And if there's so many small inconveniences and like a marriage, I feel like when you decide to marry someone, or even like the biggest commitment is having a baby with someone, because whether you're with them or not, they're always going to be part of your life, which is really scary, because it's like, if you have a baby with someone that you don't like, or you don't like that they do video games, do this and that, and you leave them, like, they're still your baby daddy, you know?
Yeah.
So instead of me sitting here and being like, just leave him, girl. Like, no, at this point, you just have to truly like knock some sense into him, because if he's not making money off of these video games, if this isn't his job, and like if he's already working all day and then comes home and doesn't pay attention to you, like you have to smack some sense into him. Because something else that you've also taught me is that it's like when I'm like, estás o te haces, like sometimes you're like, sometimes it like estamos, you know, like you literally have to tell them what you want from them for them to give you that, you know, like you have to literally tell them, hey, I need you to play 1 or 2 hours a day and then give me and the baby attention. Like that's literally what you need to tell them. Or
wait till the baby goes to sleep and then you face the consequences like a real man and be like, okay, I go to work I have to wake up at 5 to be at work at 6 and my baby goes to sleep at 9, 10. Then it depends how many hours I want to cut off from my sleeping to play this childish thing. You know, that's what it is, girl. Like, honestly, it's you. It's first you, and then it's the baby, and then it should be whatever hobbies let him stress out, like distress. But to be honest with you, like Franco is part of my distressing. Like I've learned to just, if sometimes he's so freaking funny, I'd rather play with him than like, by the time he's asleep and I'm like, fuck, like I have time to play video games, but I'd rather just go to sleep or watch a movie with you or something.
Or because then you wake up all like you have to pay the consequences in the morning.
And it sucks because I'm realizing that I'm not young anymore, you know, like before I could crack a freaking Celsius and play video games all night and still wake up at 7 with Franco. But then I've learned that impacts my immune system. I'll wake up not as flat from my stomach. I'll wake up bloated from my face from where my eyes strained and a headache. So
you got to choose your battles.
You got to choose your battles, guys. But
and this is what we just have to tell you. You have to talk to him. You have to treat him the way he's acting. You know, like if he wants to be childish, then you have to literally treat him like a child and be like, a esta hora se apaga el juego. Let's do something, like let's cook together. Let's play with the baby together. And then when she's asleep, okay, go to sleep. I mean, go play video games.
Go play.
You know, you have to tell them exactly what you want from them. But the next one says, hello, Blanca and Jonathan. I love watching your podcast. Thank you, girl. I really need some advice on something that happened almost a year ago. I have been with my fiance for almost 5 years now. We have lived together for a long time, and I had to leave out of state for something very important. He did not want me to go because of a circumstance but because of circumstances, I had to. When I was away, he stayed by himself and was very dry with me. When I came back, he was still dry and pretty rude. I found out he had watched porn when I was away, and I was very heartbroken and disgusted by it. It made me feel so insecure, and I even had many anxiety attacks due to it. Damn. I wanted to leave very badly since I considered it cheating. I couldn't understand why I don't mind him sending stuff. I asked him what made him do it, and then he said it was a TikTok, a video of girl twerking in a bikini. So then we both deleted TikTok to try to work it out, and after months I couldn't see him the same and was going to leave, but he begged me to try and forgive him and forget it. Now it's gotten better, but I don't know if I will ever see him the same, especially because we were going to get married that month when he did that. Now I'm more jealous, but I try not to be. I really want us to work out, but at the same time I'm not scared. Oh, I'm scared that when I get pregnant or have to leave town again, he was going to do it again.
I think girls, when they do these little like not cringe, what's the word? Like these little activities, like, you know, like marriage therapy vibes. You know what I mean? Like delete TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go on a walk instead. Let's delete our social. I think that never works.
No.
That he's gonna find booty shaking nowadays, guys, unfortunately, is everywhere.
Yeah.
You open your Instagram reels, you open up TikTok, you open up Facebook, anything, everywhere, guys. Everywhere I see, it's all that. So like deleting TikTok and all that, girl, it's just not gonna work. You have to hit it from like the root.
Yeah.
And be like, and it depends. Like it's so immature of him. Like, I can't, like, si tú le das, right? Like, what's that saying? I love that saying now. It's like, you know your pudding is battered, or like, if you know your thing is taken care of, like your sex life, then there's no need for you to do this when I'm gone for a few days.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, if you throw it down for him when you're here, you know, he's fulfilled sexually with his wife and you are too, then you leave, then he's supposed to have that type of restraint. Yeah. Does that make sense? And not just break or at the first sight of booty. You know what I mean? And I think that's very stupid. And and let me be honest with you, this is even tougher. if he's doing that with a couple of days of you leaving out of town, imagine when you get pregnant. Imagine when you have birth and you can't have sex for what, 6 weeks. Imagine if you get sick, like, you know, Dios no lo quiera, algo más grave, and you can't have sex, or you don't feel like having sex for a long time. Like, what do you think he's gonna do in a month? Like, do you see him capable of him restraining himself from sex for even half a year? You know what I mean? Like, you need to know your own man, and like, I understand you, the insecurities that it brings up, and that's sad. So I don't know. What would you tell her?
I would tell her, it's hard because I understand you wanting to try to make it work, because I feel like we've all been there before where, oh, do I make it work or do I leave? But when you consider cheating, that is like, I think, hard to forgive and forget. Like, I'm sure you could forgive him. You can forgive your partner for doing so many things, but like forgetting and then it eating you alive for a year now. Like, this happened a year ago and she's still like thinking
It's
about
also
it.
like,
you know?
did you guys talk about what if watching porn was cheating before he did it? Like, was that established, or did he just do it and then you told him like, no, I consider that cheating? Like, there's also a thing there, because if this is the first time he's ever done it and you guys didn't really address it, like yes or no, then I think he deserves a second chance. But if you had clearly from the beginning told him, like, I'm trying to think between you and me, like, I feel like I always gave you that sort of respect because I didn't need it. Like, we never talked about porn, but I never did it. Like, I never watched it.
Yeah.
Whereas like we would meet friends, we would start making friends. And when we got comfortable, they would be like, oh yeah, we watch porn. And we would be like, but you and I never talked. We were just always on the same page.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. But like, did you already talk about it? Like, did he know that watching porn was very bad for you? If you didn't, you just assumed he would know, then I would probably give him a second chance and like
just try to work it out, because if he didn't know, then it makes sense that it probably caught him off guard that you thought that he was cheating.
Yeah.
But another thing is that you have to really make sure that he understands how you feel, so that next time you do have to go out of town, next time when you have the babies, like, that he doesn't think he can resort to porn right away. You know, like, you have to be really stern with him and tell him, like, if you do this again, that is like the end for us, you know. And honestly, you guys are fiancé still, so you guys aren't married yet. If it's still eating you alive now, like, you have to look at the root of the problem inside of you, because also, like, you haven't married him yet, you know, so you haven't really tied the knot yet. So if there's something in you telling you, like, you know what, just like end things, like, you really have to look at the consequences, because if you end things, like, you're throwing away this 5 years of relationship for something that he did just that one time last year. Like, if all of that is worth it to you, if throwing away the 5 years, if not getting married, if losing the engagement, if all of that is worth it to you because you feel like he cheated on you and betrayed you so hard, then that's when you really have to think about, like, should I actually go ahead and marry this man?
If that's true. Like, if it's that easy for you to throw away, not saying that like that's not major, but like, there's girls that forgive actual like physical cheating and like really bad. So if that's enough for you, then also like, where do you stand? Do you really actually want to be with him for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Or if this is truly eating you alive because it truly hurt you and like you had anxiety attacks over them, then you should really think about, you know what, I probably shouldn't marry this man, because I'm never going to forget it. And I'm always going to be anxious. I'm always going to be more jealous, you know. You just have to really choose the consequences for this actions. Like, if you marry him, you're going to be having panic attacks. You're going to be jealous. You're going to be overthinking. If you don't marry him, you're throwing away the 5 years, the love, you know. You really have to weigh your pros and cons, I would say.
But I'm going to tell you this, girl, like, the odds of you finding a man that does not watch or has not watched or is not into it, especially nowadays, is so freaking rare, and it's going to be so hard. And right now you have a man that at least like regrets it and wants you back, and like is promising you that he'll never do it again. Like, who says that when you break up with your fiance and you go, like, sure, you might have a guy that says I don't watch it, and like every night is, you know, there until you move in with him. But and I think, I'm not gonna like pat myself on the shoulder here or there, but like I've been around it where like my friends, they watch it, and like I remember clearly we were little and I went over to a slumber party and like it was just like three other guy friends and we were little. We were like about 14 or 13 and my friend was about to put it on. And no, he put it on, but it wasn't like full on. It was like the Playboy channel.
Oh my
So they
God.
were like, it was like a reality show. And I was
Okay.
like, what is this? Until they were going skiing. And then the girl took off. And I was like, whoa, whoa. Like, what are you doing? I was like, we're just going to watch porn. And I was like, I don't want to watch this. And then he's like, why not? Like, it's girls. Like, what? Like, I was like, and then, babe, I was so freaking shocked. Like, this is a little story. I'm going to tell you guys.
Story time.
And then I was like, so what? You just watched you watched the dick too? And then they're like, yeah, like, I mean, we don't really watch the dick, but like it's sex. And like, I was like, but that's gay. Like you're watching another guy's dick. He's like, no, it's not gay like that. I don't. And they were like, we don't know how to explain it. It's just, we don't watch the dick, but it's like porn. And we're like, and I was like, I couldn't fathom watching another guy's penis because I thought that was so like gay. I was like, that's weird. You guys are just watching naked dudes. He's like, yeah, the dude's naked, but we're not watching the dude. It's just, I was like, no, but you know, because I was a technical little nerd. I was like, no, you are watching.
Like technically, you're watching the dude.
You're
too.
technically watching a dick going, that turns you on another guy's dick. They're like, no, dude, it's just not like that. I was like, no, you know what? Like, let's just play video games or do something else. This is weird. Like, just four dudes watching porn in a room yeah. And then I talked to my friend Danny. We said this on a podcast the other day. How him and his friend, when they were little, they would go to corners of the room, put on porn, and then do like a little fort with the chairs, and then they would masturbate. And I was like, dude, that is actually, me and Henry, we went in on him. We're like, dude, that's so gay. Like, you're literally moaning, like your little 12-year-old moans next to your friend, like while you guys are beating your meat. He's like, no, it's not like that. I was like, could you hear each other moan? And he's like, well, yeah. But I was like, then that's kind of, and he's like, no, now that you say it, you know, that is kind of, but anyways.
That's so funny. They were 12?
Yeah. And I was like,
God.
my experience with that has always been, because I've told you this, like when people ask us, like, what's your celebrity crush or your hall pass? And it's like, I just don't find, I don't know if I'm special like that or something's wrong with me, but I just don't find myself sexually aroused by anyone that's not you.
And that's what I remember when we talk about it with a couple of our close friends, they would tell us like, well, who's your celebrity crush? And I was like, I find, obviously there's men that are handsome, right? But I don't think, like when I look at someone, I'm not like, oh damn, like I want to fuck him, you know? And it's just never been like that. Like when I had a crush on Troy Bolton, it was never like, ooh, you know, it was like, oh, he's so handsome. And like I loved him for Gabriella. And that's how I look at all of these like celebrities. I'm like, wow, they're handsome like for their girlfriend. Like that's amazing. But it's never been like, oh, a hall pass or oh, I'm sexually attracted to them, because that's kind of icky. Like it makes me feel icky that people, or that you could think like that about someone else. That's just because they have like money and fame. But yeah, I don't know. That's a lot that you have to unpack there too. Yeah.
Just like I know I have friends that don't watch it either. Like they're kind of on the same page with me. I also have friends that are like literally addicted to it. So yeah, girl, like if you think you're going to find a guy that it's like very rare.
But you could.
You could, but
are you willing to go through that stress?
Nowadays, like it's so rare. I mean, it's everywhere, unfortunately. Like back when we were little, what Vine occasionally had.
But even like when you were little, it was like the TV that you had to buy like the certain channels or something. And now it's like you have OnlyFans, you have Twitter, you have a TikTok. That even TikTok, like it can get sus sometimes too, you know?
Yeah, sometimes I'll see like a girl like on TikTok, and then it's like a guy like reacting to that girl, and then in the comments it's like, I remember when we used to like flirt with girls for these pictures. We used to beg girls for these pictures, like,
and now they're just
like legs, and now they're just free on the internet. So like it's getting harder and harder, you know?
It is. It's everywhere. So definitely weigh your pros and cons and then go from there. Like actually make a pros and cons list. That's going to help you like write it out and say it out loud. You're going to be like, okay, am I willing to lose this, or am I willing to just forgive and truly work on forgetting about it, you know? Okay, the next one says, I've been dating my boyfriend for 5 years and we've been living together for 2. I recently found out that he had a secret Snapchat where he messaged other girls and flirted with them for a year. I let him stay at the apartment to fix things, but I honestly don't know what to do, especially because he's been doing all these things I've asked from him for 5 years and is being the perfect boyfriend. He says he wants to marry me and that he's going to be better and never do this again, but I'm just very conflicted. Any advice would help. Thanks, and I love you guys. Love you too, girl.
So he cheated for a year?
A whole secret Snapchat, I would be livid.
But like at that point, like it's a secret Snapchat, but like do girls know who the guy is? And they're just willingly like, oh yeah, I know he has a girlfriend.
There's a lot of girls like that. They don't care.
But like at what point, like I don't know. The guys, some guys are just something else. Like at what point, like you just send nudes and you just like what do you get from that? Like you're never gonna meet this girl in person, like
unless he did.
Maybe.
And you don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. A secret Snapchat is very sus because then you think about that. It's like, well, was he meeting up with them? Was he just texting them?
Like, is he just supposed to get blue balls for the like a year?
Mm-hmm.
You just,
or was he actually like going ahead and meeting up?
Yeah, girl.
If you like,
that's an easy one. Leave him.
Yeah, because he's your boyfriend. You're trying to fix things, and you already feel like you're not getting anywhere. I think you should just leave him.
Yeah, girl. Like I said, if your man doesn't, I told Blanca this other day. I was like, I'm literally obsessed with you. The more time I spend with you, the more I'm obsessed with you.
Really?
Yeah, like after almost 9 years next month, like in 2 months. So
yeah,
like if your man doesn't feel like this over, and needs a secret Snapchat, needs to watch porn, needs, unless you guys are cool with porn or whatever, but like needs to have like a sense from another girl, then it's just never going to work out, because I truly believe once you found your soulmate, you don't want anything else to do with anyone else.
Yeah.
So, that's my thing. I'm sure a lot of guys out there would agree with me. Once you find the girl, your brain and your heart and your wiener isn't going to like move for anyone else.
Yeah. And I think it gets kind of scary because I think with the way that you were telling me, like, oh, I'm obsessed with you, but I feel like it may happen to a lot of couples that, we've been together for a very long time. So we get into routine. We get into like roommate vibes. We get into like, let's do this and this and then go to sleep and do it again the next day. Like very routine. It's like, why? I think that the question is always like, if you're so obsessed with your girlfriend, like, why don't you show it?
Yeah.
Like you have, and I think it's the same thing, guys. Like you have to talk to your partner about the things that you need, the needs that you need to be met, because you could save yourself so much. And maybe even sometimes like, oh, maybe they got a little bit bored and then they made a secret Snapchat, because their needs weren't being met. Their needs weren't being met. So if you just like go in and communicate with them, maybe just tell your partner what you need. I feel like I've learned that with you, that I literally have to tell you like, oh, well, my love language literally changed. So now I need you to do this because I'm no longer this, And
I like that.
Yeah. But sometimes I guess us girls just want you to read our minds, or
like
just
you guys
want
are so
you to
dramatic.
be with us.
Like I want him to pick up that from yesterday to now. It's not physical touch anymore. It's words of affirmation or gifts. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that when I'm checking if Barcelona won the game they had today? Because I'm a dude, and that's
because
what I
you don't think about it. I think because a lot of girls like me, and I've realized this, even like Noemi has told me, she's like, you're such a hopeless romantic. Because like all these movies, all these like super cute, like cringy, emotional romantic movies, I literally live for it, because I'm like, I love this. I love love and like people showing love, and I'm like, I have to communicate that with you, because you don't know that. Because guys don't think about, oh, I'm a hopeless romantic. They're like what you said, looking up stats for their soccer team or their football team. So you just have to be you just have to tell them like, these are the needs I need to be met, and you tell me yours, so that we could be on the same page, so that maybe you don't feel the need to go and talk to other girls. You don't feel the itch to go and like watch TikToks or like videos on TikToks of girls doing this and that. Like, do you want me to twerk for you? Like, I'll twerk for you, In a way, it sounds very extreme, but you can make your life so much easier. It's true,
because at the end of the day, you're going to spend the rest of your lives together.
Yeah.
So if the guy isn't being met sexually, or he has to be doing everything else right, because like, is he providing for you? Is he a good dad? If you guys have kids, is he a good husband? Okay, yes, he checks all this out. He's like, well, now that he is a perfect husband, boyfriend, am I fulfilling him, so he doesn't think these other videos are fulfilling for him then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's very important, communication. And also just like, because for example, like, I'm going to take two extremities, because guys were very simple creatures. our love language for the most part is sex, right? And then girls, it's like flowers and words and all that. So it's like, but a girl, you can say that stuff, right? You can say like, I need you. But a guy, once a guy has to be like, oh, I don't think you're giving me enough sex, then that's kind of, that turns things awkward in the marriage, because I think in the way, that's the only way the only time we expect it to be like girls. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because guys, like good guys, we don't want to be like, sound like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's, because I've talked about with my friends, and then they're like, well, I don't know how to tell my wife this. I don't know how to. I was like, dude, the best way to just tell her is to tell her. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just wait for someone to read your mind, because that's what girls expect us to do, and we're not girls. So we just straight up have to be like, you know,
give me more sex. And it's so funny because when you put it the way that you were like saying, like, yeah, maybe sometimes you could be like, wow, all you want me for is sex. But if you're already being a good husband, if you're already being a good dad, if you're like, ¿qué nos cuesta, you know? And we know that obviously, like, when you're young, because I remember this is TMI, but our sex life when we were young was like crazy, in a sense, because obviously we didn't live with each other, we didn't see each other, so every time, like, we just wanted to be, you know. But you also have to think about it that when we would see each other, what would you do? Like, you'd bring me to Starbucks, you would like meet my love languages, so then I would meet yours, because it was exciting. So in a way, that's what you have to do, even if you've already been married for 9 years. Like, you have to make it exciting. Because
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I know a lot of ladies are gonna like be like, oh, like, or even you, but I'm just, for the sake of the conversation, it's like girls expect like flowers and like the same how when we first started dating, but you're not throwing it 2 to 3 times as much when we first started dating. So it's like, you know, like, I don't want to ask you for more sex, but you're asking me for more flowers, and you know, and it comes
like,
to
we expect you guys to do the same things we were doing when you were dating, but we're not. Like,
you're not wearing lingerie anymore. You're not, you know, like the guy twerking. You know what I mean? Whereas like when you guys were trying to get with us, bien que estaban
doing all the things.
So that's because what I learned through TikTok, because sometimes when you become a dad and you get married, you know, your TikTok changes, your For You page, and it's like, I think this is starting to change libido, like sex drive. Whereas like back then, the couple that had the more sex drive was deemed as like, sex isn't everything, sex isn't, you know, but sex is the last thing that comes in a marriage. But now I think it's starting to shift in our culture, where it's like, I can't control that. I can't control the fact that I was born with a high sex drive. Like, this is what the TikTok, and I think this is, they put it into, because sometimes it's the girl that has a very high sex drive, and the guy's like, dude, like, we just had sex, and the girl wants more and more. And it's like, I can't control, and I'm not going to be ashamed that I have a higher sex drive than you, you know? Whereas like back then, it would be shameful to be like, all you want is sex. And now it's starting to shift where like, it's like, no, well, God made me like this. I don't know why my libido is through the roof. I don't know why I crave sex like more than you, but I think you also need to compromise with me. Whereas like, maybe you don't have a high one, maybe you don't need it daily like I do or whatever, but like, we need to compromise, because just like you don't need it and you're fine with it, I do, unfortunately. And then that's the part where like these people on TikTok make it like, unfortunately, like, I don't wanna, you know, like, be like a dog, but that's just how my biology is. Like, what do you, and then I feel like that's where like this guy with the TikTok and the 2 guys that cheated, the one with the porn and then the one with the Snapchat. It's like, I'm not trying to support them by any way, but I do understand, like, I see perspectives in a different way when you read these advices, and it's like, fuck, like, yeah, pues son perros, you know, they need more sex, but it's like,
I think the way that I put it too is thinking about, like you said, the first thing you said is that men are very simple creatures, in a way that literally all you need is sex. Like, if to have a good day, and if you start off having sex, you're gonna have a good day. But in the other ways, like, this is expected if they're meeting your needs too. Exactly. Like, if treating you nicely, because obviously you're not gonna have sex with a man that's been a dick to you all day, that just got home from work, didn't help you with the kids, you know. So, or
you want marriage and they're putting off marriage. Like, that's another thing. Like, le estás dando todo. Why would they propose to you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you guys have to think about it that way too, because I think, so obviously in our relationship, I feel like you're always the more practical, more, how do you call it?
Realistic.
Yeah, realistic. And I feel like I'm very like movie-ish. Like I literally think my life's a movie,
Yeah.
basically. And I'm very dramatic because of the way I was raised, you know, because my biggest fear is to end up in a marriage like my parents. And even I love my parents and I know my parents love me and I know that they love each other. And I just feel like they have had a lot of like struggles in the marriage and a lot of things that could have been better. So my biggest fear is like ending up like that and taking like things out of proportion and just being like, oh, red flag, you know? And I think that you've always made me be like, yo, like this is a marriage, you know, like I understand if I'm cheating. I understand if I'm hitting you. I understand if
Hitting
I'm
my
like,
son or something.
yeah, being abusive. But it's like, I didn't take out the trash. Like you need to, like it's a marriage, you know, like you, and I think that's what Jonathan has really taught me is like, I know I always say like just leave, girl, like just divorce him, just leave the kid, your kid's parents. But then I think I had to do a lot of like self-reflection and be like, okay, what am I really losing here, you know, like an amazing person that I can tweak, because you have to literally like it's a build your man, basically, like
Well, I
you
was gonna say that at the beginning. Like once you get married, it turns into like Build a Bear.
it
You know,
literally does, like
you have the right stuffed animal. Like you want the lion.
yeah,
It's just a matter of like building them how
yeah,
you want.
you just have to make them how you want them to be. And if that's by, I know it sucks that sometimes you have to be like, well, I don't want to have to tell you to be more romantic, I don't want to have to tell you to plan more dates. But you do, like you're married, you already made the biggest commitment of your life, whether you're married or had a baby. It's like you have to literally tell your man like, hey, let's go on a date. And then when you get home, you already had an amazing day. Obviously you get home and you're expecting like, hey, let's, you know, make it even better. So you just have, there's a lot that you have to compromise when you're married. And I think even when you have a baby, because as I said, guys, I always say, oh, like leaving your baby daddy must be so, it could be so easy, but it really can't, because you're going to be part of his life for the rest of your life. And how many times do you see that, oh, like me sneaking, like my sneaky link is my baby daddy, or I'm so sorry that my baby daddy cheats on you with me, you know? So it's like, if you already know, like down the line, he's your baby daddy and you're going to end up back together, you're going to end up hooking up, or he's your husband and you're gonna end up like regretting the divorce, you're gonna end up regretting the moving out and all of this, like you really have to think about all the things that he's doing. And if he does have that secret Snapchat and he actually didn't meet up with them physically, like if you can work through it and work it out, then better for you. Because then, because if you think about it, oh, I leave him for 2 months and then in 2 months I'm gonna be like, actually let's just work it out, like save yourself that heartbreak, you know? So I think you really have to weigh your pros and cons. And I'm saying this if you're married or if you have a baby. If you're just dating, you don't have a baby, you're not living together, then it can be easy.
Yeah, it's because sometimes maturing like we are, it's kind of like for those that maybe aren't as mature. Not saying that I'm more mature than you guys, because there's way more mature people listening to this than me. But what I'm trying to say is that if we're not at the same level, then those that are listening might be like, well, that's kind of stupid. That's wrong. It's not until you get there that you're like, for example, the Snapchat dude. I feel like like you, or like maybe like a year ago, whatever, it'd be like, leave him. Fuck that. And now you're saying that if this Snapchat dude is being a good husband, he's working, he's a good, they don't have kids, right? But let's say he had kids. So. He's being a great father, you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't take care of nothing. Okay, why did he have to open that Snapchat? If like, he's providing and he's still being cute and he's still buying your flowers, but you're like, I have a headache tonight. Yeah. I don't want to have sex. Late tomorrow. Yeah. Then it's like, okay, maturing is realizing like, okay, like what are you also like? Because if you're giving him the cheeks every night and then he doesn't have,
still doing
that,
then
we have a problem.
Out, you know.
But maturing is realizing like, are you doing your part as well?
Yeah, and I feel like I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like obviously, I am maturing, and it's a lot thanks to you telling me like, hey, like we're a team, like we have to work this out. And it's always been like me, because of the trauma that I have instilled in my brain, that I don't want to end up like my mom. Like my extreme has always been divorce, like divorce, because I'm done. Like I'm not gonna, even though the problem is not extreme, you know. And but I feel like I'm never going to say don't leave him, because that's kind of unrealistic. If he's cheating, if he's but it's like if the circumstances are the way that we just explained them, where he's a good husband and you don't know really what he did, it maybe it was because he just needed a little bit more at night. Because I know it sounds so like anti, like I'm not a feminist either, but I'm for the girls, you know. And I think it sounds kind of like, oh, you're just telling me to give my husband more sex.
Yeah, it sounds so like caveman. Like
it sounds like more like, it sounds like, Blanca, you're literally bowing down to Jonathan, but it's not that, because they are such simple human beings. It's like, if you are already giving him all of that and then he's still doing shady shit behind your back, then I'm gonna be like, that's stupid. Like, you know? Yeah, like
this man's not fixable, because you're already giving him,
he's just for the streets.
Like, what else
period.
are you gonna give him?
Exactly. But so don't think that I'm over here like, no, like just marriage and you have to. No, I'm saying, given the circumstances, if things are good and you just gotta, you know, give it, your headache has to go away for a little bit at night, you know. Because when you were dating, like, I always think about this, when I was dating, I never put up excuses, you know. I was always like, let's go, let's meet up, you know. And now it's like, I feel like I don't put up excuses either, but there's girls that could, or even girls that maybe feel like they weren't treated well that day, like they're gonna say, I'm not in the mood tonight.
Or the simple act of like, I know I also like see this, like starting it. Yeah. You know, like at the end of the day, I think that's what separates like good and bad. Not bad, because I think that's too extreme, but like good husbands and great husbands, where like, if I don't see you at least try to engage it like once every 3 times that I engage it, then we have a problem, because then it just seems like I just want it. I just, you know, I'm forcing you. So that's another thing that like, it goes into play. Like, you just expect us to show up with flowers after work and do all this, then we just like that, we expect you.
And it sounds so silly, like sitting here and being like listening, saying, oh, we expect flowers, we expect dates, we expect surprise this and that. And all you guys need is like a simple act of love at night, which is still like fun for us, you know, because like, to be honest, like, I don't feel like I need sex, you know. And like, if we're not together, like when we would break up and stuff, like it was never like, oh, I need, which is why you've been like just my first everything. I just don't think that I need it, but it's fun and it's nice. And you know, like my love language, when we have, like, I have to, like, I basically have to be making love in a sense. Like, I like to make love, and it's very emotional for me. So it's like, if I have fun and it brings us together and we cuddle all night and we have such a good time, and that's all you need for you to plan a surprise date.
I've told you this, babe. Guys are simple creatures. Like, remember the other time I told you, and I think Gabe was there, and Gabby. No, who was it? I think it was Gabby and Gabe. We're like, I told her, I was like, girls are so, you guys call us dumb, but you guys have everything. Like, you guys could rule the world, and you don't, because you overcomplicate things. Like when I told you, when you asked me to do something, but you say it in a hostile or like rude, not rude way, but you're like, do that, like take out the trash. And then I'm like, no, like what the fuck? Like, but if you're like, hey babe, can you please take out the trash? Or like start like, hey, I'm gonna take out, no, then we get up right away and we do it. It's like that. Like, you guys could have the world if you just ask nicely, or just maybe started doing, like, I've seen the TikTok where the girl, she grabs the power drill and she starts like just making noise like this in the room, and then the husband walks in, like takes it away and starts doing it. It's like, you know, whereas the girl could have walked into the husband's personal space, personal chill time, and just been like, I need you to hang this, do it. And the guy's like, why? It's Saturday, I'm off. Just do it, you know. And then it's like, whereas like,
I feel like we're such girls like me. I feel like it's hard to say, because I'm still a girl's girl. Like, I'm still like, leave him, sis, fuck him, leave him this. But given the circumstances that I've have to live through, and the things that you've taught me, even though I don't want to be like I never wanted to be like, well, just hear him out, you know. But I feel like that has been very toxic of me. Like, I've always been like, fuck him, whatever he says, he's lying to you, leave him, because of the traumas that I have.
But that's good that you realizing you're maturing.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying for a good husband. I'm saying for someone that,
no, obviously,
that does the good. Like, I'm not saying, oh, he cheated on you, like just stay and like hear him out. Hell no. Like, if he cheated on you, get out. But I'm saying, if you guys argue a little bit, if you bicker, if he doesn't take out the trash, if he doesn't help you clean, Like, that is fixable. Like, only do the things that are fixable.
I just think cheating is bad regardless, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's fucked up, right? How cheating, if a girl does it in a movie, it's romanticized. And like, oh my God, you can see that the husband was constantly working and he didn't pay attention. And then when the girl cheats with the mailman,
We're like,
oh
hell
my
yeah.
God, it's so cute. And I like, you guys romanticize that.
Yeah.
But if the wife just had a baby, or the wife is stressed at work and isn't giving it to the guy, and the guy at the office sees the secretary, oh my God, he's a piece of shit. Like,
well,
fuck him. Fuck.
She's just had a baby.
You know, no, but I'm saying like other things. You know?
I know.
It's like I'm talking about like You, like that show. Remember?
Yeah.
So it's like
I was like, me.
Like when she cheated, I bet all the girls were like, oh my God, you know, like that's so sexy, or like foxy, you know. But when he cheats, it's like he's a piece of shit. Like fuck him. Like, so it's the same energy. Like you guys expect the same thing. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you have to really, it's like, it's not black and white, but it's like, if he's being a good husband and then you bicker over something that's fixable, like your in-laws or the baby, that he doesn't help with this, like, that's fixable. If he's cheating, if he's hitting you, if he's mentally abusing you, like, okay, that's non-negotiable. I'm never going to tell you to hear him out, you know? But yeah, guys, honestly, I feel like the more you grow, because we are literally 24, we're going to be 25 this year, crazy. The more that we mature and the more that I'm in a relationship with Jonathan, which I feel like he's so realistic in a way that I feel like you're what is it? Cup half empty type of guy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a cup half full type of girl. So because you're like that, you've made me realize a lot of things.
Yeah, where you want like a Prince Charming type marriage, and I bring you down like, look, that's just shit in the movies, all right?
Yeah.
Like this is real life.
Yeah.
But like how we also talked about this the other day about like the whole dates and affection. It's like you are what you see and what you learn.
Yeah, and when you
know,
grow up,
so like if I just saw my mom beat the shit out of my dad, because my dad obviously isn't gonna hit my mom back, and like not going on dates and not doing this, like how do you expect me to just plan a 5-star date and like do flowers and then this and then bring you a dress? Like, how do you want me to know that when I didn't see my parents do that? Whereas just like, I don't expect you to do this, but you do it because you see these movies.
Yeah.
You expect me to plan all these romantic shits, but I've never seen The Notebook. I just watch soccer.
I know you've
Where
never.
like you might, when you left me Chex Mix in the mailbox and did all these cute things, you were watching The Notebook. You were watching these cute things.
I was actively.
You just
searching
expect
for
me
cute
to
movies.
do it when I just finished playing soccer and then watched Game of Thrones. Does that make sense? Like, not that you can't learn on your own or like just have emotions, but that's what I'm saying. Communication.
I just think that the guy that you were, like growing up, you were never a watch movie type of guy. You always watch Animal Planet. You were never a Manita Sudar type of guy. You were always like you weren't into girls, and like you weren't into like watching movies like that. And as for me, I've been watching High School Musical since it came out, which I was probably like 9.
Yeah,
you know?
the scary movie I watched with you when I first met you was probably the first scary movie
that you ever watched. And it's hard for me to think about that because, guys, I literally, like, maybe this is something that you don't know about me and you're barely, like, you learn something new every day, but I'm literally the main character in a movie. I'm not, baby, like, be honest. I literally act like my life is a movie. I'm not kidding. And it's so, like, cringe to think about, but that's just how I am because I grew up literally like fantasizing about movies. Like I wanted my life to be a movie. You're
the main character in the movie and I'm the like the guy that sets up the stage for the movie and the camera. Like I'm not even in the movie. I'm like I'm filming and shooting and being realistic. And you're like, oh, this, you know, those like where they like find out they're in a movie type of movies. They're like, oh shit, this isn't real. Like you're the character, and I'm like, I'm controlling everything because I know movies don't exist.
Yeah, it fucking sucks, guys. Because I'm such an extremist. Like one little thing is, it like shoots me into a different world where I'm like, hell no, like I gotta go, you know? So it's crazy that you've taught me so much in that sense because I feel like you literally have been teaching me what it is to be a marriage because of the traumas I have. Because even though like you obviously didn't grow up with the perfect marriage, like your parents' marriage was fixed when you were what, like 12?
12.
So like you see going from extreme like bad to extremely good, like that's crazy. But mine was just the same. It's always been the same. So I've always been like, I don't want this, I don't want this, like, and I've always been like, guys don't change, they don't do this, they don't do that. So the fact that you've showed me like you changed from being toxic, and you changed, and it's crazy because even the things that we struggle with now are so minimal to the things that we struggled with before, that now I'm like, okay, like this is what marriage is like I decided to marry the version of you after you were not toxic, after you went to therapy and did like all of these self findings. I was like, so if I already chose you, then like unless you cheat on me, unless you hit me or Franco or something, like there's really nothing that I can't do to build you into the man that I need you to be. You know, even though it sucks like listen hearing like, well, you have to build him, like you really do, guys, because the one thing my mom has always told me, it's like all guys are the same. You just have to choose the one that you want to put up with and build them into the person. Because guys are literally like,
but this is where compassion.
I mean, no se hacen están.
This is where compassion comes in. Like if you just want to build me, but you don't let me build you, then there's a problem. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, because it's a team effort for a marriage. So I don't know, guys. I think we're entering our marriage era. Or I think we're kind of leaving
marriage era?
Yeah, like I think I'm leaving the just leave him sis era. Yeah. And I'm entering the if it's fixable, like fix it.
Damn, babe. Don't let what's her name? Call her daddy. And hear you.
I know. And you know, I haven't listened to Call Her Daddy in like probably a year now.
No, but it's true. Like you just learn life is about perspective, guys. So like if you start seeing different perspectives, you start seeing how the world functions and you change as a person, you know? Yeah. Whereas like if you're just this 20-year-old girl listening to Call Her Daddy every day, listening to self-empowering women. And you know the thing that I listened to on TikTok the other day? And this guy was sitting across this, like, not to be mean, but stereotypical ratchet girl, like her long ass nails, really thin dress. You could see her boobs. And this guy was like sophisticated, rich and stuff. And they do these like interviews where like the guy tries to like basically make the girl look stupid, more stupid than she already is, unfortunately. And the guy was like, who do you look up to? Like, who empowers you? And then the girl was like, Beyonce, you know, because she's rich and, you know, and then the guy's like, look, it is good to look up to Beyonce, but you say you embody her like something else. She's like, yeah, because she's a bad, I'm like, and then the guy's like, Beyonce is not that much different than you think from you. She married the only guy that is richer than her, Jay-Z. Jay-Z has cheated on her, yet she's stuck with him and has a kid. Yet on all her songs, Single Ladies, I'm a Ring, blah, 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 tells you to break up with your man, but she doesn't do what she sings about. So this is where that new era comes in, where like Call Her Daddy, all these big influential women are telling you to leave him, sis, cheat on him, do all this to your man. But they're not doing the same with their man. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Call Her Daddy has a boyfriend that she doesn't show and loves him and cuddles with him at night after she just told you to go fuck all the guys you can, because she's not damaging her body, her soul with sleeping with all these 30 guys. She probably has a boyfriend that she comes home to and loves her, and you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, don't listen to these people that are not giving a fuck about you.
I guess what I would say is like, don't listen to them verbatim. Like, don't do exactly what they say, because Call Her Daddy, like, she does have a boyfriend she doesn't show, goes home, cuddles, has an amazing sex life with, but she's already been through the shitty guys that treated her like shit and did this and that. So it's like, unless like the way that I'm talking is because I'm already married to you, because I've already been with you for 9 years, because I've already chose to like that you're my person, like I already made that decision. But if I'm talking to a 20-year-old girl that hasn't had a marriage, that hasn't had a baby, like I'm going to tell her, like, you do not settle for anything. Like, you go and find who you want. If he's not meeting your needs, fuck him, leave him, you know? But it's like, yeah, I'm talking to the girls that are in my position.
I guess you're talking to them, but you need to be understanding of them too. Yeah. Because you're telling them, girl, I've been there. But you also, your mom told you when you were being toxic with me. Yeah. Does that make sense? So
yeah, so I guess I'm gonna stop being the toxic, leave him, unless it's not fixable. You know, unless you're 20, then I'm gonna be like, leave him for anything and just find yourself. The growth. Thanks, babe. I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely entering my mature era in a sense that I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with me. There's too much going on in my head and in my life right now, so I'm just trying to make it out alive of this new season of life, you know?
I guess as a parent, you just want the best for your kids. So Like, I don't want Franco to find divorce. I don't want Franco to, because if they're not fighting over abuse, cheating, like, you're gonna tell your son to, like, hey, this is marriage, so it's not gonna be pretty. Like, you think couples that have a 50, 60-year-old marriage don't fight? Like, that's stupid.
I think I was listening to a TikTok from Michelle Obama the other day that she was like, we've been married for 40 years and we had a 10-year struggle, like 10 years where it was bad and things were going south. But she's like, I will take those 10 years and be good for the rest of the 30 years, And it's like, yeah, it makes sense if you're struggling financially, if you're struggling like with meeting each other's needs, but it does not make sense when they're cheating, abusing you, and so forth, Yeah.
Very well said. We went on a long ass rant.
I know. And it was mostly because I couldn't find more emails that were like condensed.
Oh. But I think that needed to be said, guys, because we're going into a new year. I mean, we already did. We're starting a new year, and especially because we know our demographic is majority Latinos, Hispanics, Mexicans. We want to break that curse. We want to break that.
And you guys have to grow with us, and we want. Like, Jonathan and I go through a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And like I said, this year is hard. It's the hardest year of my life, whatever. So as we're growing, you guys have to grow. Like, we can't go through it and like feel more mature, feel like we've gone through things that make us.
Yeah, we're not JoJo Siwa, guys. We're not going to stay 16 forever.
Yeah.
We're not going to stay 20, fuck him sis, forever.
Yeah.
We're maturing because we have a kid now. And
the thing that we've always kind of said is, if we're going through things, like, we're not going to tell you everything, and we're going to be private about our stuff. But if we're doing things that are helping us grow, like, you guys are going to grow with us, and we're going to tell you what we've gone through to help someone out there, So just letting you know, guys, that's what marriage is right now. Marriage is crazy, and you have to truly work on it, unless it's not fixable. Unless he can't be a Build-A-Bear. Maybe he's already been built too many times.
And everyone's not fixable is different.
Yeah.
Like that girl wanted to end it for one video of porn. I'm assuming, like, we're just saying, whereas some girls take 10 times cheating and they're still there, physical cheating. So it's like, find your fixable and
find your Build-A-Bear, man.
Find your Build-A-Bear, because you can build the teddy bear you want, but if that teddy bear is never going to turn into a zebra.
Yeah.
You just, no matter how many different shoes, clothes, stuffing, a little heart star you put on it, it's never going to be a zebra. So like your mom said, once you find your man that you think, okay, this is the one I'm willing to put up with and build him, then that's how you find. You're never going to find the perfect man. That's just in movies.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic. And
that was a big hit or what was it? A big slap in the face for me.
Well, yeah.
For my movies, I was obsessed with like those cute, cringy. And I'm still obsessed with them, but I'm like, damn, like, sometimes it's just not true, Sometimes you have to struggle a little bit more. Like, that is why movies exist, to get you out of your struggles of your real life, like you go into a different world. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Our email is spillthebeansjj@gmail.com. If you ever want to send us a question, a little advice email. Follow us on all of our Instagrams, all of our YouTube channels. You want to stay up to date and see our day-to-day life. And other than that, babe, do you have anything else you want to say?
Let us know if you guys like the setup. I feel like I only looked at you guys like 2 times this whole podcast because it feels weird doing this and this and this. But I kind of like it. I think it's a vibe. I think this whole like new setup we got going on is cool. So yeah, let us know. We freaking love you guys. And just remember, audio version obviously goes up on Thursdays, and then visual, go leave a comment. I know maybe you already listened to it on Spotify on Thursday. Go leave a comment on the YouTube, something cool. And we love you. We appreciate you.
And we will see you next Friday.
Later.
Or next Thursday.